palm reading of a 52-year-old person. We are reading his particular hand, and we would basically, I would try to describe whatever I see on this particular hand. Before I start my video, I would request you to press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update. To get a paid reading from me, you can call me or you can email me. These are the phone number and the email that are mentioned out here. Now we straight away head to this particular hand image that we have in front of us. Now I would first just talk about the important lines that we find on this particular hand. The most important line that we find on this particular hand is under the finger of Mercury, the smallest finger. This is the finger of this is a finger of technical skills, calculations, communication, and all these kind of things. And people who have such a line, basically it means that the person is likely to be skillful, and skills would play an important role in this particular person's life. So you would notice that there's not one but multiple lines under the finger of Mercury. Books basically say that if a person has got these multiple lines, the person could be a good doctor or a person could be a good healer. But it is not necessary that only these things apply. There could be other aspects as well that might apply in this particular person's case. I basically say that these lines are more to do with each independent set of skill. A light line also, a very thin line also, and a strong line also. All of them basically depict some skill or the other. It means multiple set of skills when we find multiple lines out here on under the finger of Mercury, the smallest finger. This finger basically is a very small finger, but yet it is of great importance, and it is telling about the whole life and not particularly only for few years. It is not only for just for few years. It is right from the childhood till the end of one's life. So this is an important area in one's life. Generally, everybody wants to know about success in their life. See, success basically comes to people who are basically skillful. It doesn't come to people who lack in skills. So skills is the most important area of one's life. Generally, people want to know about money matters. This is the money line going towards the Saturn mount, the mount for money, possessions, wealth, money management, and all these kind of things. So don't think that money line would tell everything regarding the money, because we can see money from almost any aspect of your palm. It's not necessarily that only money line would be telling. Money line can only tell 10, 15, 20% of how much money the person is likely to make in one's life. So it's a money line is just a small depiction of how much money the person would be having in his life. So it's a combination of each and every aspect of your palm that might bring you material success. So the most important area covers the area of mount of Mercury, that is the area of skills. So a person who has the skills would be able to adjust himself in any environment, any place, and would be in demand in almost any country of the world. So this is the reason why it is important. You would notice that there are very thin kind of lines as well under the mount of Mercury. So thin lines, thin and dim lines are of no use. You need to have strong lines. So there's one strong line and other lines are comparatively weaker. So weak lines do not mean that the skills are sharpened to a very high degree. The strong line only means that only those skills are sharpened to a high degree. So you just need to have one single line that is good enough for the whole life. So this is the first part. So this is a good aspect that we see on this particular hand. The second aspect we would take into account is the line of sun and the finger of sun, the ring finger. This is the part that we would see out here. So I'm just going to draw the sun line first and headline now. This is the headline and this is the line of heart. So 3 lines I've drawn. So the intersection of the sun line and the headline, this portion is age 35. The intersection of the heart line and the sun line, this age is 53. Just remember that. So the portion from before the age of 35 till the age of 53, you would notice that the line is extremely dim. I'm just removing all the lines so that you can see it for yourself, that the line is quite dim from the early age till the age of 53. Beyond the heart line and between the fingers, you would notice that the line of sun becomes extremely deep and clear. So deep and clear sun line is always a better sign. Just imagine something. We are talking about sun right now. So sun is full of light and it gives energies as well. So when the line of sun is very dim out here before the age of 53, it means that there might be doubts and self-doubt. It is something like the sun is hidden by the clouds, and it is and they are deep clouds. So our deep clouds basically signify that there are doubts within that particular person. It doesn't mean that the person would not be successful. It is just that they are self-doubt. So the amount of success the person could have made, the person might not have made. But at the same time, when the line of sun becomes very deep and clear, singular kind, it signifies that all the clouds have gone away. There are no clouds in the sky, and the sun is shining bright, and that is the reason why the person is able to energize their work. Same way the sun energizes the earth and the plants grow in a much better ways. In the same way, a deep and clear line signifies success to this particular person. Now we move on to another line, that is the heart line. The heart line, people think that heart line would tell about the emotional life. It would tell about the relationships and the love life. Yes, it does. But apart from that, we can also look at the heart line from the other point of view as well, regarding your profession as well. So I will be talking about the relationship part and regarding the work part as well. So first we will take the work part. Now the profession part. See, in the profession part, first we would notice that the starting of the heart line from the edge of the mount of Mercury, you would notice that there are branches like thing out here. See, these branches, whenever we see at the starting, this is a indication that the person loves children, and the children get attracted to such a person. So this is the first part. The second part is there's an upward line from under the finger of Mercury, and above the heart line there's a line something like this, upward line pointing towards the finger, something like this, joining into the main heart line. This is an excellent sign. It basically, what it signifies is something like, I've already talked about, this area is for the area of Mercury is for skill, and a heart line that originates on the mount of Mercury and joins the heart line is something like the person's heart gets inspiration or is getting all the qualities from Mercury. So it could be said that the person is born to be something like a person is born to be something and totally dedicated and totally getting all its energies from Mercury, and Mercury is for skill. So the person's heart lies on Mercury. So this is an excellent sign. I'm just giving you another example. I've seen similar kind of lines in the hand of a gynec who is doing assistive birth, like using different technological methods to give birth. So using of more technology in one's profession. Same case I found in the hands of a top lawyer. So lawyers, for also because lawyers are use that communication part. So this is the area of communication and skills, and so even for them the heartline was originating out here. So the person was probably right now the person is just a lawyer, but the chances for him to be in be a judge is there. So this is a beautiful sign to have, a positive sign. The negative signs on the heart line are that, imagine something that this is the heart line, and lines that move upward either way, this way, left hand side as well as right hand side upward, these are all positive. I'm just drawing these lines just for indicative purposes. So any line moving towards a finger is like moving towards the sky. It means your emotions are pulling you upward. It has something to do with this particular aspect. But the downward line on the heart line, these downward branches are a little bit negative, and specifically this particular downward line that is coming and joining the headline. This is the headline, this is the headline. So it is the branches from the heart line are leaning towards the headline. See, this is a negative sign. What it does is that it is connecting the head to the heart. The thing is that both these lines should remain independent. The heart and the head should remain independent. It is something like the heart is your emotions, emotional life, and head is your thought process. So both should remain independent, and if they remain independent, the area between the line of heart and the head, this is the playground. This is the playground for emotions, the heart line, and the thought process, the headline, to basically mingle together and make your decisions. But when we find that the heart line branch is connecting the headline, what it does is that it basically is a negative sign, and what it does is that the person might have misplaced affections. The person might be affectionate to those people who are not worth his affections. So this might play in a negative way, and this branch could also mean trouble from, probably because this is going towards the mount of Mars negative. This is the area of Mars negative. So this could be a negative sign, and problems can come from male members as well, or some relationship as well. So something or the other might play out in a negative way. So these lines are also lines, and this is a fairly strong line, a fairly strong branch line hanging towards the mount at the headline. This could also mean distractions. It also could mean stress and anxiety. This could also mean that the person might lose his focus. So this is what it basically means. In this particular case, it's always better to have a simple, deep and clear line. Simple, deep and clear lines give better result than complicated kind of lines. So a simple line is always better compared to a complicated line. Simple line would mean detachment. Detachment doesn't mean that a person is detaching himself from everything. Detachment just means being in the moment without having expectation of the outcome. So this is but these branches, what it does is it brings in attachments. Attachments bring in expectations. Expectations are not fulfilled. That's a reason why disappointments might creep in. So this is what is represented by the heartline that has got branches. It's not totally bad, but I've just described you whatever I saw on the palm. This is just indicative. Now we talk about the line of money. The line of money basically starts on the mount of moon. This is the mount of moon. Mount of moon, whenever the money line starts on the mount of moon, it signifies that the person would benefit from females after marriage, after having a girl child, or it could also mean benefits coming from foreigners, or being in a foreign country, or being in a trading or service industry. So all these things would bring benefit, and unknown people would bring benefit to such a person, or an unknown country can benefit this particular person. In the initial start, the money line before the age of 35, the line of money, the line of fate is broken a little bit at the initial start. So that's a little bit negative and pointing towards the mount of Mars. A money line pointing towards the Mars negative is a negative sign. In the initial start, what it does, it might bring losses and all. Then the line starts again, and basically it moves forward, and till this point the age could be 32. But before the age of 32 or so, 31 or so, there's a small branch moving towards the mount of Mars negative, again a negative sign. I'm just removing these lines once again. And money line should be considered something like a river. there's a river going something like this, and a branch is moving away from this river, a tributary. So less flow comes into play somewhere out here. It's all happening before the age of 35. And this is a negative sign. Then as the line moves forward, you would notice another branch, a small branch, is joining into the main line of money, the line of fate, the line of Saturn, whatever you might call it. So this portion is at the age of 32. So some benefit comes through this particular person. It could be married or other things as well. Then the line of money basically moves forward, and it continues till somewhere till it touches the heart line. So this age is age 53. So somewhere at the age of 53, few changes basically takes place, because the money line is ending on the on the heart line. So the age is basically age 53. So sudden abrupt ending of the line of money basically signifies some kind of financial issues. But at the same time, the problem could not necessarily mean only financial. The problem can come from emotions as well. It could come from relationship issues as well. You see, generally when the money line breaks, there are two or three things that might come into play. Either there's a business loss or there's a job loss, first thing. The second thing could be the main earning member of the family, their health or wealth deteriorates. Not this particular person, but other person. The third thing could be that the person's relationship issues might crop up, and that's the reason why problems might crop up. So there are two or three issues. So the line from sun, the line from of money is something like this. The intersection of the headline, this is head, and the money line intersection, this is age 35. The heart line and the money line intersection is age 53, and this portion is beyond the age of 53, the money line that we talk about. So there is a money line beyond that also. It's not necessary that people should have a money line, only then they would have money. Many billionaires do not have a money line at all. So don't worry if the money line is broken. There's no problem as such. But break in the money line does bring some amount of disturbances. There's also supporting kind of a line that is there on just besides the main money line, and this line starts somewhere at the age of 44 and it ends somewhere till the age of 53 again. So this is what it is. Coming back to the heart line, I would say that the heart line is a little bit curved towards the end, so the person could be passionate, the person might display their emotions, and the heart line is kind of ending somewhere close to between the first finger, the finger of Jupiter, and the Saturn, so somewhere in the middle. So Jupiter is all about idealism and sensitivity. Saturn is all about money, possessions, and wealth. So if the heart line moves somewhere closer to the mount of Jupiter, it is more to do with the person becoming more idealistic, and if it sticks to and close to somewhere close to the Saturn mount, if it was something like this, the person is purely materialistic. So the person is somewhere in the middle of being idealistic and sensitive, and it's a reasonably good sign. I wouldn't say that it's a bad sign. For money matters, if the heart line had ending purely under the mount of Saturn, that would have been better. But this is not such a long line that I would say that there's problem. And on the lifeline as well, we would take a few indications out here. And just take a few indications. Give me one moment. So we talk about the line of life out here. This is the lifeline. There are few upward lines from the lifeline pointing towards the mount of Jupiter. They are comparatively a little bit weak, but not so bad. Upward lines from the headline or the lifeline moving towards the mount of Jupiter, the big planet. It signifies a person reaching up to a high position in his life. If these lines were more distinct and clear, I would have said that better things. These lines also doesn't mean are indicative of the person's outlook, the person's growth outlook, and the person wanting to be at a respectable position. So this is one part. The second part is that there are few upward lines from the lifeline. This is the lifeline, and there are a few upward lines pointing towards the finger of Saturn, and this line is pointing towards the sun mount. So lifeline branches moving upward towards the finger are always considered to be good. It gives up the lines that move towards Saturn give money, possessions and wealth. It's a luck line. And lines that move towards I think this is moving more towards the Mercury mount, so this is for skills. So both these things would come to this particular person, but somewhere close to the age the person is traveling, maybe around the age of 60, there's a downward line as well. So downward lines are a little bit negative lines pointing towards the amount of moon. They signify that loss of health and loss of wealth. But at the same time, it could also mean something else as well. It could mean the person getting restless. Restlessness might creep in. The reason why we say restlessness, because moon basically changes phases on a daily basis, and the person lifeline, it moves towards the amount of moon, so the person becomes very changeable and the person wants lots of changes and the person could get restless. So it has to do something to this particular effect. And you would also notice that there's an island-like formation somewhere close to the lifeline, so this is a little bit negative. Some people might say that this is positive sign. They say this is a fish sign. I don't consider this to be a fish sign. I consider these kind of formations more to do with an island. So the person needs to be a little bit cautious somewhere close to the age of 65 or so. The lifeline, you would also notice this is the lifeline, and imagine lifeline to be something like you're traveling in a car. This is a car or this is your engine. This area is the area of Mars negative, and this area is the area of Venus. Venus is the area of energy, vitality, stamina. This Venus is a very warm planet and full of energies, and Mars is basically fire, the red planet, the area of anger, aggression and fire. So lines that are horizontal, these are negative lines on the mount of Mars. They basically kind of brings oppositions to this particular person, so the person's fire might get misused, and one of the portion when it is misused is somewhere close to the age of 35. This intersection I have already spoken about. One more line comes and touches before the age of 35. So this portion of the headline is before the age of 35, this portion before the intersection. So a few problems could have been there before the age of 35, but beyond the age of 35 you would notice that the headline is reasonably without any problems as such. So it doesn't mean that the person wouldn't have any problem. It just means that the person would be able to handle those problems in an effective way, and the person wouldn't feel the problem if like the person reaching up to a mental breakdown. Again, coming back to the lifeline, you would notice that there are few horizontal lines coming and touching the lifeline. These are a little bit negative lines. The person needs to be careful. I've already talked about, consider this to be lifeline to be your engine or your car you're traveling in, and the lines that travel horizontally and touches the lifeline, it is something like a car or a truck or a cycle or a scooter, whatever coming and touching your life, it is kind of toppling your car. So it has to do with something health issues, but it could also mean something to do with a person wasting his energies as well. Horizontal lines is wasting one's energy, and wasting of energies can take place in different forms, but at the same time, because it appears the amount of Venus is well padded, it signifies that the chances are that the person still would have quite a bit of energies remaining with him. One more thing I need to add out here, the head and the lifeline are joined at the initial start for a long duration of time. The person could be very cautious, shy and hardworking. This is what the person is. And one more thing I need to add out here is that if you look at the fingers, there's an arch kind of a thing on the Saturn finger, there's a concentric circle on the fingers, and even in the Jupiter finger. So, and the Saturn finger appears to be quite a long finger and reaching almost close to the ring finger. So whenever we find an indication something similar to this, a long sun finger signifies that the person would kind of be an extreme risk taker, a gambler. See, not the person might say that the person is not a gambler at all. I totally agree with that. But at the same time, the person could gamble with his life. there are different ways of gambling. So the person could gambling, the inner instinct to gamble is there. But a long finger also makes a person extremely social gathering. The person is very creative, artistic, and the person shines in the society. It is the sun finger, and sun basically shines, so it brings in shine to this particular person. The person might have taken the image in a little bit different way. So one thing I can't say with certainty, but it appears that the Mercury finger is long. See, the person is kind of caving in his hand a little bit, so the line of Mercury appears to be quite long and reaching and above the finger of Mercury. If this is the case, it's an excellent sign. This is the area of communication, this is the area of calculations, and if this finger is good, so it is a communication tower. So a communication tower that is long, it reaches the larger population. So it's a very, very positive aspect if it is a long finger. And Manmohan Singh, and the Indian Prime Minister, also has the Mercury finger and very, very long finger. So it's a beautiful sign if it is such a long finger, and the person is able to bridge the gap between their loved ones or near and dear ones or other peoples as well. So this is what we see on his hand. I'll just move on to the left hand as well. See, both hands show similarity in most cases. Very rarely do both hands show dissimilarity. The sun line is also similar. It's a little bit dim and becomes much more stronger. Beyond that, this Mercury finger is Mercury lines are fairly very, very strong. The money line is broken somewhere at the age of 44, then it starts again, it breaks 53, then again it starts. So there are few hardship, like financial issues do get a little bit shaky during that particular period. Although it doesn't mean that if the money line is broken, it's all bad. Sometimes the period could be excellent, super excellent, but it would bring some amount of instability. The lifeline is also broken somewhere close to somewhere in the middle, somewhere close to the age of 35 or so. See, the lifeline, say generally a break in the lifeline is considered to be a bad sign. What it does is that it might bring health issues or some accident or something like that. That already, the person is 52, so the person has already passed that particular age. You'd also notice a problem line coming and touching the break somewhere out here. So the problems could have been grave during that particular period, but before the age of 35 there's an upward line, so that's a positive sign. It brings in gains, it's a line of luck. And the good part, that what happens with the break is that the break is out here and then the line overlaps. So consider something, that this is the area of your fire, the area of Mars negative, and this is the area of fuel, the Venus area. So if there's an overlap, so more surface area comes to the Mars and the Venus area. So more surface area, when coming to the Mars and the Venus area, it signifies more energies and more stamina. So even in spite of that break, things basically become extremely good for this particular person. So imagine the person is living at 10,000 feet and then the person starts living at 20,000 feet. So it's a positive sign to have an overlap. The negative sign could have been, imagine this is the lifeline and it's broken and the new lifeline is underlapped. So that's basically a negative sign. In this case, it's overlapping. So overlapping is considered to be a beautiful sign. Before I end my video, just one more thing. There is island-like formations at the starting of the line of head and life. So great hardships could have been there in the earlier period portion before the age of 17, 18, mentally as well as physically. Both ways, it could have been really, really bad. And I think that's it for this particular video. Before I end my video, this is the headline and there's an upward line going upward at somewhere at the age of 35. So upward movement of lines are considered to be good from the headline as well. It brings about some amount of good things, like positive things at the age of 35. The heart line is a little bit bad. Heart line basically is not singular. It is made up of these branches. These are negative signs. This is this is where the trouble may lie, and there's a strong branch moving towards the headline. So that's it for this particular reading. I hope you liked this particular video. If you like this video, click on the like button and do subscribe to my channel. And we can come to know about money, possessions and wealth from any line. Importance of money line in terms of how much money we will make in our life is just 15%. It is all lines that can give success or failure. And we can come to know about success from the headline, the lifeline, the sun mount, the Venus mount, the Mars mount. Any line can tell about success or failure. And a saint once said, you do not need to go to an astrologer or a palmist to know about your future, because you already know your future. Present is a result of past. How will be my future? Future depends upon what you are doing in the present. What are we? We are product of our thoughts. So the thoughts that come to our mind are really important. Keep positive thoughts and keep good company. That's what matters the most. Thanks for watching this video. And company matters the most. If you have bad company, everything is going to go in the wrong direction. If you have good company, all the negative things might not play out in your life. Thanks, bye, and take care.